This is a Patreon request, and today we're going to grade the movie, the 2022's The Menu. What's the final grade? We got to stick around to figure out what that is. But before we do that, let me tell you what movie breakdowns is. A movie review series looking new old movies to give them a grade A through L, plus and minuses do count. And if the review you want me to do, let me know. Please put in the comment section below and I'll get to it as best I can. And I also have Patreon, Patreon/Ali Zakka. And for $2 a month, you get the cut in front of everybody. Get your review out on Patreon way before it come out on Facebook and YouTube. Now, let's go ahead and get to today's 2022's The Menu. Now, what is this movie about? This movie is about a restaurant dinner, pretty much. A handful of people get selected to come to this dinner on this remote island at this fancy restaurant, and as they're going through the 5-course meal, some things start to get a little weird and out of hand, and the night becomes a pleasant dinner, turns into more of a horrific journey. And that is the gist of The Menu. This movie is an hour and 46 minutes long. It's considered a horror comedy, and the things that I like about this movie is, one, you have Princess Peach, you got the Beast from X-Men, and you got Voldemort in the movie. That's the first thing. First thing I noticed, I was like, oh shoot, this might be a good movie right off the bat with this cast right here. But not only that, I did like the fact that the comedy in this movie is kind of subtle comedy. It's not hand-fisted to you. It is things where the characters are saying stuff that's like, might not be exactly like, it's like subtle funny, like you're paying attention, like, oh, that's funny, versus like, Belly, oh my gosh, dying laughing funny. Like, for example, there's a scene in this movie where a character thought it'd be a funny idea to tell the restaurant that it was one of his friend's birthday. And as the night progresses down and gets worse, and they bring the birthday cake to him, they're like, hey, happy birthday. And he's like, did you tell him it was my birthday? His friend goes, and the guy goes, I thought it was funny 3 hours ago. Like, that kind of thing where like everything's like tense and everything, that little break of levity there. Or, for example, one of the characters is he paid for a lady to come to the dinner with him, knowing that at the end of the movie she was gonna die, and the head chef made him make all this. I guess I should tell you the name of it, but pretty much Nicholas Hoult is forced to make this meal, and the meal is called Tyler's BS. That right there, it was funny because, yeah, he put Anna Taylor-Joy through a bunch of stuff, and for her to, for it like that, like pretty much he lied to her the whole night, all throughout the night, and then he was like, it's Tyler's BS. It's his BS. They put her through this stuff. He's a bunch of crap, and here he is making a meal called Tyler's BS. Those kind of things right there, little hints are kind of funny, where you're like, you know what, you're chuckling at that, but it's a serious thing, but you're chuckling at it, and it's kind of like the little humor and levity it brings to the movie to give a little levity, but at the same time, it's still a horror movie. It's not a movie where everybody's gonna feel like, oh my gosh, you have like the good guys will come out on top, come out on the end. You don't really know. And another thing that I liked about this movie was the camera and directing and the setting and everything. Like, this movie is set in a small room, and and there's little shifts like this. As the night is progressing on, the camera starts shaking more and more. It get a little more unhinged and uneven as the characters themselves are feeling a little more unsafe and feeling more like uneasy. The camera starts shifting a little bit, just a little, like the slightest touch, not like shaky cam. It's just a slight thing where the camera's not stable anymore. Like somebody's holding the phone and they're kind of nervous on what's going on. Little directing tips like that, they're like, oh man, that's really, really good. The acting in this movie is really, 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 really good. I mean, everybody delivers when it comes to acting. Everybody does a good job with it. Like, even the side characters, phenomenal work. Little hints in the writing, for example, because the writing in this movie is really good too. It's where one of the guys was like, you know what, I'm not about to deal with this, I'm leaving. And he tried to force his way out, and the head waitress or the hostess, she goes, which hand would you like to resolve this issue with? And he's like, what? It's like, right or left? Which hand would you like to resolve this issue? Do you want to leave it up to me? He goes, what? And she's like, okay, take the left hand. Left finger. Ring finger, left hand. And that scene, that that finger that they take is actually a very important finger, because the guy was accused of, and not accused, he actually was cheating on his wife, and they take his ring finger and give the ring back to his wife, which is like one of those things like, oh yeah, you're cheating, and here we go. So I like the little things like that. The writing in this movie is really, really good as well. The writing's really, really good. The only nitpick that I had about this movie that really, like, for me, bothers me is the ending. The ending. I was along with the ride all the way through. I wanted to know how this movie was going to end. I wanted to know to see how the characters are going to escape, how they're not going to escape. So pretty much towards the end of the movie, or I guess the beginning of the movie, Voldemort tells Ray Fiennes, he tells everybody, or Ralph Fiennes, not Ray, but Ralph Fiennes tells everybody that, like, at the end of this all, we're going to die, pretty much. Like, and actually he tells Anna Taylor-Joy's character, Margot, that we're going to die. And he tells Margot this, that you're going to die with the chefs, or you're going to die with the bad people. So everybody he brought to this dinner have done some kind of dirt, and they are not really good people. They're at it, ripping off people in their business. They're narcissistic people who only do stuff for themselves and doesn't care what happens to other people. They're cheating on their family members. They're coddling other people and acting like, give people whatever they want and not really holding people accountable for their actions. They're just not good people. And even Ralph Fiennes' character, the head chef, he's not even a good person. And he pretty much tells Margot that, like, hey, you're going to die at the end of this, but you shouldn't be here. Like, you wasn't invited here to come die. It would have been him and his girlfriend. His girlfriend broke up with him, and he paid for you to come here as an escort. And he was telling her, like, why are you here? So towards the end of the movie, Margot does find a little more about the head chef, Ralph Fiennes' character, who is Slowick. Learn more about Slowick and learns that he started off making burgers. And this picture of him making a burger, like, he had so much joy in his face. So she kind of plays a mind game with him towards the end of the movie, where she's like, I'm not hungry. She hadn't really ate much of this food anyway. She's kind of like bashing on everything at the movie. And Ralph was like, or Slowick was trying to figure this person out and crack this person out and figure out what about them, what caused them to do such things and why they won't eat and enjoy the meal. So she tells him, I want a cheeseburger. I want a cheeseburger. And I'm not some fancy cheeseburger. I want like legit American cheeseburger, greasy, dirty cheeseburger. I want just a cheeseburger. And he was like, challenge accepted. And he got joy back. Like at the moment, Slowick felt like the look on his face and the love and everything, and like he had joy of making one great meal one last time for somebody who wants to eat it. And then she gets it. She has one bite. And she's like, you know what? My eyes are too big for my stomach. I want to take it to go. And he goes, okay, yeah, let's see what we can do with that. So he gives her a box and a go box and let her leave the premise. She got to leave. So I'm sitting here like, oh, it changed the error of his ways. Like, he's no longer going to kill everybody. He's going to realize what he did was probably a little too far, a little too extreme. These people deserve to be, messed with, deserve to be shown that, your actions have consequences, and you do things to people that do negative things to people, negative things will come back onto you. Like, that kind of, that storyline, that actual, writing, I thought was going to go that route. He even had people put down their credit cards and say, hey, thank you all for coming tonight. Thank y'all for paying for your meals. Here's a tab. And one last thing, dessert. And I tell you, when he put the marshmallows on people and put the candy, or put the chocolate hat on top of people, I was almost like at a loss of words. And he said his final meal was s'mores. Trash food s'mores. And he killed everybody and himself in a fire, and they all blew up together. And I was shocked. And the reason why I said the ending stuck with me was because I, for a moment, almost thought that he was gonna let everybody go, and he didn't. And this is just a nitpick. Like, it's not that I hate the ending. It was just like it felt like in a horror movie where you say you're gonna do something, he said he was gonna do it, and he did it. Sure enough, he did it. But it was almost like, I don't know. I thought my expectations was gonna be averted just a little bit, and it wasn't. And I was like, "Oh man, he actually did it. They actually did it. Alrighty, all right then." But no, like the ending was the one thing that like it fell off just a little bit because of that. Like, you thought he was gonna let everybody go. You thought, okay, it'd be a happy moment. And you thought that maybe he found the error of his ways, and then he doesn't, and he's like, "No, what? We're all gonna die. Joke's on y'all." And everybody kind of accepted their fate. They accepted their fate, and it was just like, that was it. That was the ending. And I sat in silence for a moment, like, wow, it ended like that. I'm actually shocked that it ended like that and didn't end a different way. And I don't know how you write this movie in a different way. How you write the ending a different way. I think the ending is fine. I thought it was good. This movie's great. It's a phenomenal movie. It's just that ending kind of note took me off just a little bit. Just maybe take a step back. But other than that, no, this movie is great. This movie is great. I enjoy this movie. The writing in this movie, I cannot, proclaim how much the writing, how great it really is. This writing is so great. There is a scene, and it shows you just like by like a subtle telling where this character comes. So Margot, she actually reached out to radio, and they figured this out that somebody's gonna come, and so it goes to everybody and says, ask yourself this: when this police officer comes in here, if you guys say that y'all in help, y'all need something, and y'all tell him that y'all scream and shout, it's like that, his blood would be on your hands. His innocent blood would be on your hands. He will die if you reach and shout and scream and do whatever you need to do to try to tell him that you guys are in trouble. His blood would be on your hands. Can you guys live with that? You can't go for it. But he's like, to think about this though, you guys could have took me out. Y'all had enough people here to do it. Y'all didn't. And it was almost a scene where they've been through so much, the guests been through so much crap by that point in the movie where they just kind of like resigned to their fate that they all was gonna die at the end of this movie. They all thought like, you know what? They're gonna kill us, so there's no point else even trying to fight back. And like, he broken their spirits so bad. Like that scene there, just the writing of it and reliving that scene and the dialogue and the delivery was just so good that this movie, I think it deserves to be watched by everybody. Because I'm not doing it justice, but I'm just explaining this movie to you. But yeah, that's my likes and dislikes so far of this movie. Let's go ahead and break it down with the actors and directing and all that good stuff. So The Menu's rated R, came out in 2022. It is an hour and 47 minutes long, which to me is a great time frame for a movie. I think an hour and 47 minutes is good. We don't need to be 2 hours long. This movie did not need that. The director is Mark Mylod. Writers are Seth Reese and Will Tracy. You have the budget for this movie, which shouldn't be a big budget movie. It should be actually pretty low. $35 million. Look at that. And it grossed worldwide $79 million. The crew and the cast in here, you have Ralph Fiennes, who plays Chef Slowick, Voldemort, pretty much. He is just as Slowick in this movie was just as almost creepy, kind of in your face, kind of shuttle shifting, showed up in places where you think he shouldn't be at. He kind of came off as odd. I thought he was good. Thought Ralph Fiennes did a good job being Slowick and being that like this pretentious chef who lost the love of cooking and forgot what he was cooking for, and to bring on like just mess with people. I thought he did a good job bringing that to the forefront. Anya Taylor-Joy, who plays Margot, great work from her. She was somebody who was like, I don't understand what's going on. I'm not really about this life. I'm not really like, first she seemed like a girlfriend who wasn't really into what her boyfriend was into. Like her boyfriend's like, or her dates to be so into what was going on with chef and cooking and all the little details of he called cooking his life, and you have to do all this stuff, and he kind of shuns anybody who doesn't like cooking. Like he like sports and all that stuff is stupid. Like people that's ignorant. But he was like, he said sports, music, and other stuff was ignorant. He's like, it doesn't really do much. But he's like cooking and making life and making nutrients and taking what life gives you, make this meal. He's like, that's what it's about. And he's like so into it. And she was like, I don't really care. Like I can't really get into it like this. And as the movie progresses, she become more your protagonist and more like you're seeing the world through the lens of her eyes and seeing what's going on as she's trying to figure out what is happening, how do you escape. And at the end of the movie, when she does get that opportunity to leave and she looks back, like what about them? Cause like she leaves in the whole room, everybody's kind of watching her like leave, and she's the only one who didn't really do anything wrong. And as she's looking, one of the wives of the husbands kind of just like, go, we'll be fine, go. And that subtle, all right, she's leaving. I thought Anya Taylor-Joy, somebody who was like aware of what's going on, wasn't buying into it, wasn't being about all this. I thought she was great in her character, and then it kind of found out she was an escort for one of the husbands there that like, he would cheat on his wife with her, and like they didn't say anything sexual. It was more like just taking her out on dates, pretty much going on dates with another woman that's not your wife. And Nicholas Hoult bought her to come to, well, pay for her time to come to this dinner. You know, he knew they all gonna die because the chef told Nicholas Hoult's character that everyone die. Nicholas Hoult plays Tyler, who is the jerk. He's a jerk guy. Like he's so about himself, about everything, about this whole thing that he will essentially put others in harm's way to get what he wants. And that's what he did in this movie. Why? In the beginning of the movie, there's a scene where they get, I want to say taco shells, not tortilla shells. And on the tortillas, there was an image of everybody who done dirt. There's an image of what was on, like what, of them on there. And on Tyler's tortilla shell was Tyler. He was sitting there and it's like, how did he do that? And dude was so like blind, or telling Anya like, shut up, just go along with the picture here, go along with the flow. Like regardless of what happens, he was a jerk, and his face being on the tortilla shell was a sign that like, no, you're about to get got, man. You're gonna get got. Hong Chu, who plays Elsa, thought she did a good job. She was the hostess, and she was kind of like awkward and kind of like standoffish and creepy at the same time, but did a good job with the delivery. And the rest of the cast in here, like it's the whole cast. They're all was great. I mean, everybody in this movie was phenomenal. Great job from everybody. Good work. Any other thoughts? The music in this movie is really good. It's like classical music, orchestra kind of music, some good stuff when it comes to that. The visuals in this movie, it's pretty much all props and little CGI here and there, but most of it is props, and it's just some good work, and visuals in the movie is good. It reminded me of an A24 movie. I don't know if the company that produced this movie was A24, but this reminds me of an A24 movie, and it was good. It was good. It reminded me of like you see the visual, you might see in Midsummer. Kind of remind me of that kind of visual, or a movie that you see in Hereditary. I don't think it's A24. No, it's not A24. It is Searchlight Pictures. Yeah, so it wasn't an A24 movie, but it looked like an A24 movie. Great work. Great work. Now, is this a Friday night movie? Yes, this is a Friday night movie. Watch your friends and family. Get together and watch this movie. I think this movie definitely should be watched and discussed about it. And grading time. I'm going to grade the movie, The Menu, from 2022. Give this movie an A-. It gets a 90% for me. This movie is a solid movie. Great work, great acting across the board. It's great. It's a great movie. It is Really, really good. I think the ending. Matter of fact, no, I'm gonna change that. It's not gonna be an A minus. I'm gonna give this movie. It's gonna get. Oh man, because the ending, you know, it averts my expectations a little bit. Because like, oh wow, you didn't let them go. It is what it is. And I sat and talked about it, and the visuals of the movie is really great. I've sat here and talked about it the last 24 hours. I'm going to give this movie an A+. It gets an A+ for me. It gets a legit 100% for me. Yeah, I'm going to give it A-, but no, I'm pushing it to 100%. It is an A+ movie. I literally can't think of anything bad about this movie. Like, the pacing of the movie is solid. The ending is just probably a nitpick for me. The ending is probably just a nitpick for me. I don't have anything else bad to say about this movie. A+. IMDb gives it a 7.2 out of 10. That is a C-. Rotten Tomatoes give this movie a 88% by the critics. That is a B+. And the audience give this movie a 76%. Wow, which is a C. Yeah, so I guess I'm the closest to Rotten Tomatoes critics, because this movie to me it's phenomenal. I just don't have anything bad to say about this movie. I can't think of, from visuals, from the lighting to the screenplay, the writing, the characters, the acting. Great work. Yeah, to me it gets an A+, 100%. It's been a while since I gave one of those out. All right, if you guys seen the menu for 2022, what did you think? Please put in the comment section below. On that, see you guys in the next episode of Movie Breakdowns, and keep being awesome. Thank you so much for making it to the end of this video. I really appreciate that. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. If there's a review you want me to watch or do, let me know. Please put it in the comment section below this video. Also, you want to watch the last episode of Movie Breakdowns, it's right there. Just gotta click on it and you'll be able to watch it. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. Love y'all, and keep being awesome.